Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Marketer's Guide to Data Science Collaboration. We're excited to have you here today as we review everything you need to know to work with data science teams effectively. As an organization driven by digital transformation, we see every day the positive impact that adding data science can have on marketing workflows and outcomes. But not all marketers are data science experts, nor are we meant to be. So we often turn to our friends and colleagues on data science teams to implement these new processes. We've developed this content to aid in this collaborative effort and prepare you to seamlessly integrate data science into your next marketing strategy. Before we dive in, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you a little bit about One Magnify and what it is that we do. One Magnify is a full-service global marketing partner that helps the world's leading brands transform customer experiences through digital transformation. We drive personalization at scale through data-driven, AI-enhanced, and technology-enabled marketing services and solutions. With more than 50 years of creative brand building experience and deep industry vertical expertise, we excel at magnifying brands across digital channels, offer measurable results, and set our clients apart from competitors. So from the One Magnify team today, we have two brilliant speakers. Jen Burns is our Senior Director of Digital Marketing, where she is responsible for driving collaborative, user-centered approaches to problem definition and solution development of end-to-end digital and omni-channel initiatives. Danielle Barnes is our Senior Director of Data Science, where she leads a team of data scientists who provide data-driven solutions for various clients across different industries. She boasts over a decade of experience across the entire data lifecycle. I personally can't think of anyone better to lead this discussion, as these two have led the collaborative efforts between data science and marketing across many projects, and they both put a ton of effort in bringing their insights from that experience to you. So without further ado, I will hand things over to Jen to get started.
Today, Danielle and I are excited to share how you can integrate data science with your marketing efforts. Here's what we'll cover. We're going to help you identify the optimal time to apply data science to your marketing strategies. We'll discuss how to find the right talent to execute your data science initiatives. We'll outline what data science initiatives could look like for you. And we'll talk about how to select the right use cases to begin or continue on your data science journey. Let's dive in. To answer the first question, when's the optimal time to leverage data science in your marketing strategy? Let's consider that the intersection of marketing and data science isn't just about timing, but it's also about readiness and necessity. The optimal time is when you recognize that conventional strategies aren't yielding the growth or efficiency that you're looking for. It's when the questions you have about your customers, your campaigns, and trends grow more complex than the answers that your current data is providing. This is usually a sign that you're ready to move beyond descriptive analytics and into the realm of predictive and prescriptive. For a marketing leader, the question isn't just if you should embrace data science, but how quickly you can integrate it to maintain a competitive edge. Let's consider a couple of examples. First, budget constraints. You may not only be struggling to allocate your budget efficiently across channels, you might also be looking to ensure that every dollar you spend is an investment in growth and solid customer acquisition. When you notice traditional segmentation methods aren't hitting the mark anymore, leading to low engagement rates, it can be a sign to dig deeper. It tells you that it's time to move beyond demographic-based campaigns to those informed by predictive analytics that resonate with the diverse needs of your customers. And let's not forget about conversion rates. If you're experiencing a slump despite your best efforts, it's clear that relying on traditional lead scoring models may not be enough. This is usually a sign that you're ready to step into the realm of prescriptive analytics, where strategies can be tailored in real time, driven by deep learning and AI. Initiating the transition to data science should happen when you have sufficient data to form meaningful insights, but before you reach a point where decisions are made on outdated or gut-driven methods. It's really about being proactive, not reactive. And in a market where personalized journeys and optimized touch points aren't just nice to have, but really become necessities for impacting your bottom line.
Thanks, Jen. And there's the tipping point. Marketers are looking for ROI, modeling, journey, touchpoint attributions. These are all indicators that we could be moving into an analytics driven journey. Keep in mind that integrating data science isn't a one off project, it's a strategic shift. And in many cases, the foundations aren't in place. Begin this journey when you're prepared to invest in long term learning and when your organization is flexible enough to evolve with the insights that data science will bring your marketing strategies. Let's begin by demystifying the data science lifecycle. So here we actually see what we would do to build a foundation for successful analytics. We're starting off with really understanding where our data is, what types of data we have, what can we measure, how long do we have that data for, and then pulling it into a centralized place. This place allows you to do reporting, to be able to send it to other systems, to be able to enable other types of analytics, but then also really get those baseline metrics that are meaningful and important to understanding where you should dig in for your predictive analytics journey. These are all the ways in which you would need to build a foundation to move forward with data science. Once you've built that, once you have the baseline, this is the spot where you can start asking some of the tough questions.
Danielle, can you share a little bit about how we might be able to gauge our readiness to advance to the next stage of maturity in our projects? And are there any indicators beyond just sheer technical milestones that signal we're ready to move forward in this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, as stated, having a solid understanding of the current state is really important, not only from an understanding as far as interpretation of data, conversion rates, and even spend, but then also really having the ability and willingness to make different decisions based on outcomes that could be the interpretation of predictive models. So a predictive model is only as useful as we make it. And so if an organization isn't at the spot where they can make different strategic decisions, it may not be as effective as it could be. And then also willing to make the investment in moving to the predictive journey. And that's not just necessarily a financial investment, but it can also be an investment in time and socializing the use of analytics within the organization. Those can be very large blockers to moving forward into an analytics type journey. And for organizations that need help really with these first steps with business intelligence, with some of the database management, we can also offer guidance on where to start, as well as services to assist in the journey.
Great. As we go deeper into the evolving role of data science and marketing, we're faced with a critical choice. Basically, should we develop in house expertise or seek outside partnerships to help strengthen capabilities? In many cases, the first step can be a candid assessment of internal resources against what you're really trying to achieve. But we know that you may also consider the potential value of partnerships. And in that case, it's really critical to find partners who understand your industry's nuances and also have the capacity to grow and innovate with you. And it's not just about scaling, but it's about aligning with partners whose contributions are in lockstep with your own ambitions. So, as we prepare to dive into the essential qualities that define successful data science team, Danielle will guide us through how these attributes align with an organization's readiness to embrace some more sophisticated data science capabilities.
Thanks, Jen. There's three main approaches to tackling a data science project. First, an in-house approach can be great for organizations with a pre-existing analytic strategy and resources with skill and interest in advancing into predictive modeling. Sometimes, though, based on priorities and demand, an external model can be useful to assist organizations that already have in house teams by moving projects forward and providing external strategy and perspective. This approach can also be crucial for organizations without analytics teams or organizations that are just starting to build out their analytics teams and strategies. And a hybrid approach can work for many combinations of those scenarios, or can also be an approach when an external partner helps with an implementation and internal resources take over the management and maintenance of the project. So, what do we look for when we're doing a data science project? And more importantly, when we're looking at data science teams? Here we have some green flags that we want to look for in a data science team. So, good data science teams will actually challenge your current understanding, not only of what you have for business process and where you should make decisions, but also potentially in your data quality. And these are great things. While they might be difficult for your organization to work through as far as time and energy, as well as continuing to make an investment to enhance your analytics. These are great things because ultimately it helps to improve where you're at for the analytics journey, but overall helping your marketing efforts.
Let's talk a little bit about how we can dismantle the barriers that often exist between marketing, technology, and analytics. So, in marketing, we dive deep into customer insights and execute solutions and campaigns that capture demand. Our colleagues in technology are developing the infrastructure that makes innovation possible, but also ensures our users have seamless experiences. And our analytics teams equip us with the predictive models and the data analytics needed so we can make strategic decisions. But the real breakthroughs start to happen when these areas merge their talents. And it's so critical to have these unique perspectives right from the start. When we initiate a project, the involvement shouldn't be in silos with data science or with marketing. We really do need those voices from marketing who know our customers, our audience, from technology who understand our platforms, and from analytics who transform data into insight. And it's not really about having a representative from each team, but it's about creating a cross functional group that really speaks a common language. And if we can't have everyone at the table all the time, we should at least have people on the team who are versed in the languages of data, technology, and marketing so they can be champions to translate objectives and insights across the full spectrum to make sure we're all aligned. And what this collaboration essentially means is that we're not just reacting to analytics reports, but we're really proactively crafting solutions that are predictive, adaptive, and highly personalized. And when we embrace this approach, we commit to this pathway where every initiative becomes data informed, strategically aligned, and then collectively executed for maximum impact. Danielle, can you share some of the common challenges we see when integrating these teams and how we can proactively address some of the roadblocks like differing departmental languages and different objectives and KPIs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the first things that we end up seeing, as you mentioned, is some of the challenges as far as different speak, right, different terminologies that mean the same thing but individuals across teams are using differently. In the past, we've had success engaging with marketing analysts and having individuals on our data science teams or on our data teams that actually have marketing experience, especially those individuals that are helping actually pull data out of marketing systems and really build out our data strategy or warehousing. We found that to be probably one of the most effective things in helping bridge that gap. That also helps with one of the other things that we also see is sometimes access to data. So depending on who you're working with and interfacing with, it may be a different understanding as far as what data means, where the systems are at that the data is housed in. Somebody who actually manages social media, for example, is going to interact and interface with data in a much different way than a data scientist would expect. So again, getting those individuals who have some of that cross-functional type experience or have made career changes has really been instrumental in our success across the marketing landscape. And then also making sure that you have alignment on what the data science team is working on. And making sure it aligns with things that marketing can actually do and actually implement. So it really goes into making sure where the analytics team is focused provides value and is a place where there is some level of flexibility to make different decisions.
That's a great segue into our next question, which is really how does data science fit into the day to day of marketing? And it's really about more than just numbers and algorithms. And it's about understanding and engaging with customers on a whole new level. So, in order to do that, we have to start by pinpointing what are core business questions and what are the KPIs that guide that journey. So, in the next section, we're going to talk about the how and why of data science initiatives that can redefine the way we approach our marketing goals. And in every organization, we know that the pulse of progress is often measured by KPIs. They tell us not only where we are, but also if we look at them closely enough, they can hint at where we could be heading. So let's consider the real business impact of these indicators. Starting with descriptive KPIs, we can dissect which ones are underperforming. It may be that our customer acquisition cost is rising, or we might be seeing a dip in user engagement. So identifying those trends early on is a first step, and KPIs become a really good starting point for exploration.
Absolutely. And we always recommend and really try to start with building out a descriptive report to understand how certain KPIs are trending. This really gives you a spot to understand if what you're currently doing is working or if what you're currently doing is not working or is not making an impact. And really actually allows us to hone in where we should look at from a predictive perspective. If you're also measuring different types of factors and different types of KPIs, you can start to understand at a baseline level how things are trending together, which can be very, very helpful. So, having a good understanding of the current state is really necessary for moving forward to that future state. And so, each of these services that we see here can be standalone solutions or can work together to craft a customized analytics strategy for marketers. Depending on the data that you have, we can take different approaches to providing insight and optimization for your marketing efforts.
These modules definitely offer us an advanced toolkit for refining every aspect of our marketing. I think it's important to note that as we look to integrate these solutions into our marketing strategy, it's really our role as marketing leaders to see beyond the immediate data. And we really need to look at what the future could look like when it's shaped by informed decisions to enhance engagement with our customers. And every single one of these modules, whether it's media mix modeling or lifetime value, isn't just a step towards more sophisticated analytics. It's really putting it back on the customer experience and how we can create more dynamic, more responsive, personalized marketing. And the true power can definitely lie in their combined effect and how we amplify our capabilities and really give us that agility to adapt to market shifts with better speed and precision. So now that we've seen how data science can amplify our marketing efforts, let's pivot to the really essential collaboration that exists between teams throughout a project's life cycle. Danielle, can you take us through the journey from discovery to deployment to show kind of where both teams are deeply involved at every stage?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we actually start off our data science and marketing journey, the first step, and I would argue most crucial, is really our discovery and planning phase. This is a spot where we meet each other, get to know each other, understand who does what, define roles, but also then really really collaboratively decide where we're actually going to focus and identify specific business questions and different ways and metrics that we can actually measure those business questions. This is super important because it allows us to really ground what we want to do with what we can do with the data and make sure that the spot in which we're focusing is an area in which we actually have some level of measurement that we can do. And not to get too far into the weeds, but this can really be direct as far as conversion, or it can be related things. It doesn't necessarily have to be exact, but it is important that we're all on the same page as far as here's what we're doing, here's where the value is, and here's how we measure it. And you can actually see the data science team will help figure some of that out. And then we'll ask for collaboration and sign off from the marketing team. Once we have that defined, we then move into the data engineering phase. This phase actually pulls in all of the data into a central place, does some transformations, really preps all of your data for modeling. And what we then ask there of the marketing team is that that makes sense, right? We're not going to expect a marketing team to go through and really review all of the work, but we are going to hope that they would have a gut check as far as, yes, this is what I would expect. And that's where really that understanding of the KPIs and the baseline analytics comes from. They know their data, they know their business, so they'll be able to then see if something looks wildly off or doesn't make sense with what they're currently doing. Once we have a data set, we're all comfortable with that data set, we can actually move on to the modeling and the visualization. We'll build a couple models. We'll also have some great visuals that go with that. And then we'll work with the marketing team to get sign off for what that final model would be. And then also make sure that that interpretation makes sense. We find this a lot with, for example, our MMM type models, where really we break that down into a baseline and an incremental as far as impact, and getting an understanding from the marketing team if that breakdown from a statistical perspective makes sense with what they understand within their industry and within the activities they're doing can be very, very helpful. They would also be able to notice, really from an anecdotal level, if some of those things didn't make sense with what they're currently doing and what they're currently able to see, and when they're actually measuring their own things as well. Once everything looks good on that step, we actually go through a deployment phase. The deployment phase is us actually getting everything ready for people to be able to use wider access, and then being able to have that update on whatever frequency that your data is updating. We'll ask the marketing team for approval on that feedback, and we'll make some adjustments and tweaks really based on what they're looking at. And then when we're all done, there will be good documentation that goes with that, and then also training for the marketing team on how they would actually use all of this.
So as we draw our discussion to a close today, we arrive at like the final pivotal question that really encapsulates everything we've talked about. And that's, how do we pinpoint the data science use case that's going to set the stage for collaboration between our data science and our marketing experts? Selecting the right use case can be a lot like choosing a path at a crossroads. The direction that we choose has to take us closer to our destination, which is essentially our marketing goals. And typically, this path is marked with very clear signs. It may be the urgency of our business challenges, the richness of our data landscape, and alignment with our overall vision. So, to set the wheels in motion, we really have to first look at the core challenges we face. For instance, there's an example of, why aren't our targeted ad campaigns converting as expected in certain demographics? It's not just a question, but it becomes a stepping stone to really understand the customer's journey and improve the precision of our own targeting. So we have to look at the data at our disposal. Do we have access to detailed user engagement data and demographic insights in order to be able to refine our ad targeting? Our use case has to be data ready. So we need a solid foundation of accessible quality data that can really inform and drive our actions. And the potential impact of addressing these questions goes far beyond just simple analytics. You can imagine increasing conversion rates and marketing ROI by enhancing targeting accuracy. And this is really how we look to create transformative outcomes for the business. But we know that this ambition really has to be tempered with like a dose of practicality. And we have to ask ourselves, do we have the right technology? Do we have the right skills to even implement advanced segmentation and personalization? So this will ensure that our project will align with the scope of the available resources we have. And ultimately, the overall essence of this endeavor is really alignment with our marketing objectives, sure, but also looking at our broader business goals. And in this case, we would have to ask ourselves if refining our targeting approach supports our goal to enhance customer experience and retention rates. So you go through this questioning process to ensure that every algorithm, every model, every insight really serves a larger purpose that we're all striving toward. And it's important to note that as we choose our use case, we might even start small. It could be a pilot project, a proof of concept, really some initial steps that help build confidence and can showcase some early wins to lay the groundwork for how we scale our successes.
So, where do we start? There's a few different ways in which we can engage with a marketing team. The first one is when marketing team has done their research, have an understanding of where they're at as far as KPIs, and then is coming to the data science team with a question that they're ready to explore. This is pretty streamlined with a little bit less time invested up front, but it does require data exploration to ensure that the data is required to have a model. Sometimes this is something that a marketing team may not necessarily have the resources to be able to do. And so sometimes when we're actually engaging, it's in this second fashion where the marketing team is really interested in the data science team, helping do some exploring and understanding where they should be modeling. From the data science perspective, this requires a bit more time investment. And this, again, is where our crucial resources can come in, having had a marketing background or having made a transition from a marketing type career. Now, this does require more investment, and we do find the best success in these types of instances is more of an FTE or a full time type model where you really have analysts or individuals embedded in understanding marketing activities from inception to completion. And that really then can allow us to help figure out where to formulate questions. But in both cases, we typically would recommend that we start really with an AI readiness assessment. This AI readiness process is one of my favorite offerings that we have. And it really takes the discovery and then some of our data engineering phases that we talked about earlier and marries them together to allow a collaborative way to both explore data, understand what's possible, and then have lots of brainstorming and collaborative sessions to really define what would be an important goal for both teams to work toward. You can actually see some of the deliverables that you get, and it really actually is that baseline that we would do for any of our data science projects. So really the AI readiness process helps prepare you and move you forward a bit quicker than you would without doing that readiness. So as we close today's session, we've seen how critical it is to begin with the right questions and have a clear strategy for leveraging data science within your marketing teams. We've provided you with a clear roadmap, whether you bring a well-defined question to your data science colleagues or marketing comes to data science and seeks a direction. The journey toward data science maturity is one of partnership and strategic alignment. And the most successful collaborations are those where marketing leadership and data science teams are aligned on objectives from the start.
So in order to continue the conversation, we're here to talk to you about any AI initiatives you may be interested in. You can email us at ai@onemagnify.com with any questions. We also have an April webinar series continuing that will explore marketing and AI tools and skill development. And for joining this webinar and signing up, you'll receive the Forrester report, Generative AI, what it means for B2B marketing at the email that you signed up for the webinar at. I want to thank you for joining us today and for your commitment to excellence in the data-driven marketing era. Together, we can embrace these strategies and lead the charge toward a future where data and marketing are not just aligned, but also integrated to drive growth and deliver value at every touch point for our customers. Thank you.